He's back. Our media partner and colleague, Tom Bergeron, owner and editor of ROI-NJ. You'll see the website up for ROI-NJ. Good to see you, Tom.
Always good to be here, Steve. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Hey, listen, we're getting into May 2020. This will be seen a little bit after. But there was a Renew Jersey Business Summit. Where did that take place?
Atlantic City, the Borgata, if you want to give them a shout out. Very nice.
No problem with that. Hey, let's just say that as I read about it in ROI, there may have been different perspectives on the business climate in New Jersey, one from business leaders and the other one from, I think, Governor Murphy. Is that fake news or accurate, Tom Bergeron?
No, I think that's a fair response. The governor has a lot of touch points that he can mention for business. He can talk about the bond rating going up. He can talk about revenues going up. He can talk about unemployment and GDP growth, but the business community isn't quite as sold as he is, and they see a lot of shortcomings for what's going on ahead.
Be more specific. Because I believe Michelle Sekurka was there from NJBIA, Tom Bracken from the Chamber of Commerce, a whole range of other business leaders. What are their primary 2 or 3 concerns about where the business community is in New Jersey these days?
So look, the number one issue is just the communication. It's just worrying that the governor's office and the governor and the priorities in the legislature is a little bit more on the social fabric of the state, which certainly needs attention, and less on the business. The number one issue for all business people that you talk to is the unemployment fund. Everybody knows, maybe people don't know. Look, everybody paid out, and now it's up to the businesses to replenish the fund. In about 40 other states, the governor has used federal money to replenish that fund. In this state, they have not. And honestly, it's to the tune of about $1.4 billion that the business.
Hold on, Tom, 1 second. Let's put this in perspective. The unemployment compensation fund is there for people who are unemployed, who have lost their jobs. There's a fund that pays them for X number of weeks, okay? Are you saying that the unemployment fund in New Jersey has a fiscal problem? There's a fiscal problem with it?
Well, it needs to be replenished because we build up the unemployment fund when times are good, right? Yourself, the employee pays into it and the employer pays into it. Once it gets paid out, it needs to be replenished. And right now they're looking at about a $1.4 billion shortfall.
So hold on, but wait a minute. Give us a sense of the amount of federal dollars that came into New Jersey, particularly around the pandemic, A, and B, why couldn't and shouldn't those dollars be used to replenish the unemployment fund?
It's billions and billions, 6 or 8 billion, I believe. Plus there's the 4 billion we borrowed. Plus there's the idea that the revenues, which they said were going to go down, actually went way up. The state has more money than they ever have had. And the business community is asking to use those federal dollars to replenish the fund. And the governor and the legislature have other ideas that they want to do it. And they said, well, we'll spread it out over 3 years. So that way the 1.4 billion is over 3 years instead of 1 year, which is nice. But again, about 40 other states have used federal money to replenish that fund.
Tom, I believe it was the Gannett poll, but it could have been another one. And if I have this wrong, my bad. But several polls have shown this. Most New Jerseyans. I love New Jersey, proud of New Jersey, to be a part of the state, blah, 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 blah. I love working here. But a lot of my friends, and this is anecdotal, but the polls are showing this, the surveys are showing it. More and more New Jerseyans are either leaving the state for Florida, the Carolinas, whatever, or thinking about leaving the state, or are they just my friends, Tom?
No, you're absolutely right. And there was a poll that came out just yesterday or a few weeks ago, as we now know, from Monmouth that I have it right here, 60% of New Jerseyans are thinking about leaving the state. This comes at a time when the quality of life metric in the state is going up. People are happier here, but they still want to leave. Again, there's a cost of living, there's an affordability issue, and that really gets to where the business community was. When we were down at the Renew Summit, we asked business leaders, unofficial poll, just me walking around the room grabbing people, that, hey, if you could start your business again today, notwithstanding any family connection to the state, but just for the business climate, would you start your business in New Jersey? And I had 46% gave a hard no, no way.
Hard no.
Hard no. We gave them 1 to 5, with 5 being no. And I had people say, can I say 11? Can I say 14? So it's a
What's the biggest beef, Tom Bergeron?
the biggest beef is that the taxes are high, the regulations are high, and there's not enough done to help the business community. We have the highest corporate business tax in the country, which we raised a couple of years ago, and people are saying, hey, revenues have never been better. Federal money's never been better. How about lowering that 12.5%? Well, all options are on the table is the response that is always given.
So let me ask you this. Governor Murphy wins this election that takes place. It's a tight election in 2021 against Jack Ciattarelli. And New Jersey has about 1 million more registered Democrats than Republicans. To what degree and this is your sense as a journalist, as an observer of the scene, to what extent do you sense that Governor Murphy is very much focused on New Jersey? But we've had governors in the past in New Jersey, particularly our last governor, Chris Christie, with a real eye toward the White House. Do you believe that Governor Murphy genuinely is thinking about, A, the White House, and B, can you be functioning effectively doing both things, thinking about higher office and doing your job in New Jersey? Loaded question, I know.
It is, and I'm going to give you a loaded answer as in yes and yes. Governor Murphy absolutely is thinking about running for president. He's absolutely doing things that would prepare himself to run for president.
Like what?
Well, I mean, just what can you do for safety? What can you do for social services? What can you do to raise your business numbers that he likes to quote? He wants to show that he's a solid progressive governor that's making things work. And look, the bond rating is going up for the first time in 20 some odd years. It's going up. So there are some things he can point to, which is fair. I believe he's an honest man who believes what he says and believes that his progressive road will put the state in a better place and put the country in a better place. Business leaders may not totally agree, but he's certainly doing what he thinks will work and what the voters reelected him to do.
Real quick, the term affordability is being thrown around a lot, Tom, but it means different things to different people in different positions have different perspectives on what to do about it. When we say affordability in New Jersey, we're talking property taxes, top of the list, income taxes, housing, right? Just living here. Gas is what it is everywhere. It's very expensive. What exactly can an elected official do, whether in Trenton, in the State House, or the governorship? What do you actually do as it relates to affordability? New Jersey is an expensive state.
New Jersey is an expensive state. You pay a lot, you get a lot. The legislature and the governor, in the simplest terms, can quote lower taxes, but the governor can quote that he's lowered taxes 17 times. I'm asking you, I'm asking the viewers, can anyone identify one single time where they felt their tax rate was going down? It all comes out in the wash. The general idea, the general feeling is, do you feel you're getting a bang for your buck and getting a lot for your money? And for a while, I think people did. I think right now, the minute when prices go up for any various reasons, they're going to start looking in other directions and say, this is a tough place to live, but there's a lot of tough places to live.
Also, I want to make sure we say this. New Jersey is one of the best public education systems in the nation, a great workforce as well. And I'm not going to do a commercial for New Jersey, but listen, it's easy to talk about all the challenges in our state and problems, but there's a lot of great things too, which is why some of us aren't going anywhere anytime soon. Hey, Tom Bergeron, owner and editor of ROI-NJ, one of our terrific media partners at the Caucus Educational Corporation. Thanks, Tom.
My pleasure.
I'm Steve Adubato. That is Tom Bergeron. He's with ROI. Check them out. We'll see you next time.
Think Tank with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by the Northward Center, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, TD Bank, New Jersey Sharing Network, NJM Insurance Group, Summit Health, Delta Dental of New Jersey, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, and by Johnson & Johnson. Promotional support provided by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association and by Jaffe Communications.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sharif Elnahal. Did you know that there are nearly 4,000 New Jerseyans waiting for a life-saving transplant? And 67% of those people are people of color. Just one organ and tissue donor can save 8 lives and enhance the lives of over 75 people. Let's come together to raise awareness in our diverse communities. Donation needs diversity. You have the power to make a difference. For more information or to become an organ and tissue donor, visit www.njsharingnetwork.org.